Hi witches, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode number 88. Today we're going to be looking at my recent trip to York. We're going to be looking at a couple of books that I picked up this week, and we're going to be talking about the weather and the turning of the season. Autumn is nearly here, so grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everybody, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. It's Friday again. If you're new to the channel, then welcome, and if you're new to the Witching Week, then every Friday we get together for a cup of tea and a bit of a chinwag and a catch up on recent events. We look at the turn of the wheel, the changing of the seasons and the weather, and we just talk about witchy subjects or topics that catch my eyes. So welcome. Grab a cup of tea, get comfy, put some incense on. Today I'm drinking the strawberry and watermelon instant tea from Whittard still. And I've got a new incense today. I am burning some Mindfulness by Satya. This one is so lovely. I've only just lit it, first ever stick of this stuff, so I can't tell you yet what it's actually like in terms of fragrance in the room and how long that sort of sticks around, but just sniffing the box, it's definitely got to be one of my new favourites, I think. It's really, really nice. It's almost a bit perfumey, but without the sort of notes that give you a headache. Some of the perfumey sort of incenses are not very nice at all, but this is lovely. This is one that is sort of on a par with Nag Champa and Patchouli Forest in terms of its sort of blend. And I can smell that in the box. I can't smell it at the moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I'm going to have to see how this one pans out, but it does smell very, very nice in the box. So yeah, I had a bit of a break last week, as you know. I did say in the Witching Week before that I may well not make it last week, and we had quite a few days out and I was just exhausted as well. It's taken me well, still not quite over it, but we had our youngest for 6 days, and yeah, all the sort of like late nights, it would be a normal night for most people, but for me, yeah, I really, really struggled. So, but we had a lovely, lovely time. I had a bit of a break from creating content. I have been busy working the shop though. Thank you so much to all of you who supported the shop, whether that be buying something or sharing it to get the word out. All of it counts. Thank you so, so much. Most items have sold out. There are a few spell kits left. All the incense went, but I will be bringing a new blend of incense for Samhain. That's my plan. It's an ancestor blend. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. If you haven't already, it's worth signing up for the free newsletter. There's a link below, and I send out one newsletter once a month at the beginning of the month, but if I put some bits in my shop or there's any major news, then I will send out a quick sort of notification to everyone. So it might be an idea. If you're interested in buying products, it might be worth you signing up to that. So it's been an amazing couple of months, probably the busiest in my life, and we have an amazing couple of months coming up over on Patreon as well. So again, I will tell you all about that in the free newsletter, but I will say that October Samhain is going to be an amazing one. If you are interested in mysterious things and unusual stories, I have got something very, very special coming for Samhain. I'm not going to tell you just yet, but yeah, it's really, really interesting. All I'm going to say is if you've got any interest in past lives whatsoever, then it'll be well worth signing up. So I'm very, very excited. How are you guys? What have you been up to? How has your week been? I know I need to catch up on some comments here on YouTube and elsewhere. I have read them. I've just been a bit stretched for time, so I like to sit down and do those properly. I'm a bit slow at responding to comments. I mean that when I say that, I mean overall, yes, in terms of the time it takes me to get back. I just have so many to get through, but also I'm a bit slow in terms of writing. It takes me a little while to process things and to craft a response, and I like to do that at a time where I'm free to do that. I don't like to rush it because you know, it's not polite. So yeah, I need to respond to comments on several platforms and just generally catch up a bit. The end of the month is always a busy month for me, in terms of Patreon and just in life as well. So yeah, we're getting there. What have you been up to? Have you noticed, wherever you are, whether you're Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere, have you noticed the change of season? It's definitely in the air, isn't it now, I would say. Here in the East Midlands, we, the sun's shining today and there's a sort of a bluish sky. It's a bit hazy with cloud, but even when it's hot, you can feel the damp in the air. It's dark at 5:30 in the morning and it's dark at 8:30 at night. I am not ready for this at all. And the hot days just don't feel as hot. So we've had 24 degrees and 26 degrees, but I guess because the actual amount of daylight is shorter, we're not feeling the intensity in the heat. So like inside, for example, if we had multiple days of over 20 degrees, you could walk around in a t-shirt and it would be warm inside, but now inside you have to wear a cardigan some of the time. And that 26 degrees that we had on Wednesday, it just didn't hit in the same way that it would sort of a month ago. So there's a definite change now. It's more of a humid heat than a dry heat because of all the sort of moisture that's around. And when we wake up in the morning, sometimes it's wet, it's dewy. If you went out there in a pair of trainers, you'd get wet feet if you went on the grass. So the spiders are out as well. We've had one big one. Usually they sort of start coming out at this time all the way through October, and then usually when we get to the 1st of November we're done. It's obviously the male spiders that are out looking for a mate. The females apparently don't move, they stay in one place. Our record year was probably the first autumn that we were here. So we moved into this house at the end of a year, so it was like the following year when we had our first autumn. And was it that year or was it the year after? It might have even been the year after actually, because I think I would have panicked. But anyway, one year we had a record of 22 large house spiders. Now, from what I've read, it was probably some of the same spider coming back. Apparently, if you put them out, they have a homing beacon and they know exactly how to get back. I'm just looking, there's a squirrel running around outside. I can see him playing in the sunshine. But anyway, yeah, the big spiders, they come back, and they reckon that sometimes they're faster than you are for getting back and getting in the house. I know that not to be true because of where we've left them, but yeah, that we had 22 one year, and that was a bit of an oh god moment. But the other years haven't been so bad. I think last year we might have had like 4 big ones, but they're starting to come out now. The plants I've noticed, so standing outside the library yesterday, I've noticed that they're all sort of like dead or dying back. The trees are changing colour. So we had a bit of a discussion about this in Patreon this week. One of the ladies, hello Claire, she said that she showed a picture of the trees changing colour in her area, and so I've been keeping an eye out this week as I've sort of moved around or been places with my other half, and they're definitely changing colour. So autumn feels kind of early this year. It's felt like a bit of a weird one this year because obviously we've not had much of a summer here. I'm sorry, you can hear my little bells on my top. It's usually my chair squeaking making the noise. I'll obviously have to try and sit really still, but I have got these little bells on my, well, it's a dress actually, and yeah, they're disrupting things a bit. I'm sorry about that. Let me hold them. But then I'm going to have to put them down to turn my page of notes to remind me where I'm going with this chit chat. Anyway, there's a feeling of autumn in the air, and there's that definite feel of sort of like expectation. I talk about this every year. I've only kind of caught glimpses of it at the moment, but as we get into September, I usually get this sort of expectant feeling, and I don't know if that's from being younger and waiting to go back to school or what it is, but there's this feeling of expectation, and I'm definitely feeling this sense of like planning for winter almost. I've very much got the urge to go to some of my favourite places, almost like I need to get that done before winter kicks in. That's the only kind of connection that I can make in my brain, that it's right, we need to go to these places before it's time to hunker down. I don't know, do you get that feeling at all? Yeah, very, very weird, but yeah, it's most definitely in the air. It has been really nice though. So last week we had our youngest for a week, as I said at the beginning of the video, and it was nice to go places and it just be sort of a mild temperature, not too hot, you know, we weren't sweating, we weren't uncomfortable. It was just really, really nice, but equally it wasn't too cold either. I did have a cardigan with me, but it was just like lovely and comfortable. So we actually went to York. We did a little bit of walking around the shops. It was a bit of a whirlwind tour really. I think we left at about 8 o'clock, so we got up there about 10, half 10 by the time we got parked and stuff. And we did the Jorvik Viking Museum Centre, and we did the York Castle Museum, and then we had some dinner before we came home. So it was a bit of a whirlwind trip because it is a couple of hours away at least, and then obviously you've got to travel back again, but it was really, really lovely. One of the highlights for me was us dressing up in the museum. We all had a little go at that. I saw this lovely lady doing witch tours. I only got a photo of the back of her. I didn't really have the guts to ask her. I know she would have been fine with having her photo taken. I did just want to get a photo of the back anyway, because it's just like a lovely sort of silhouette. But I have to say, this lady, this girl, she seemed quite young. She was absolutely beautiful. She had beautiful red hair and a beautifully made up face, and she was just gorgeous. Obviously, takes some people on tours. We did actually see her walk past the restaurant where we sat and had an early dinner. So yeah, really, really lovely. There was also this dragon in one of the perfumery shops. Now I'm not sure if he was supposed to be Falcor from, I think it's a Never Ending Story, isn't it? But anyway, he was really, really beautiful. Apparently he moved, his head would move up and down like that. I don't think he was switched on when we were there, either that or he just moves very, very occasionally, but we didn't see him move anyway. But really, really beautiful. There's just so much to see in York. You definitely need a couple of days at least, I would say. It's really an overnight trip so that you can see all of the sites. I mean, 2 days for me would be too much at the moment. 1 day for me and then a day to recover. But yeah, if you're thinking of going, if you've never been to York before, you must go. It's an absolutely beautiful city. It's not humongous either. I think that's the thing I like about it, is it's not huge and it's just a wonderful place. It's got these beautiful city walls and you can walk all the way around them. We only did a section, but it's just lovely. It's lovely to see the city, and there's just so many interesting shops and lots of things to do. If you like Harry Potter, there's lots of Harry Potter themed things. There's obviously the Viking connection, and there is, you know, a little bit of a sort of a witchy theme going on as well here and there. Lots of interesting stories, lots of interesting tours, lots of activities. We saw lots of people queuing to go into various different places. So well worth it. Just so nice to be outside, so nice to have some fresh air. Much better than being inside watching TV. And I read a little fact about that this week. Apparently less than half of Generation Z, which is 18 to 24-year-olds. I always get those mixed up. I always have to look up and see who's who. I can't remember who I am, but yeah, Generation Z, less than half of them watch traditional TV now. And for those that do, they only watch about 33 minutes per day. They spend 3 times longer watching things like YouTube, Instagram, videos, Reels, TikTok, And I was thinking about this, when we were kids, we watched a lot of TV. When we got in and we got changed after school and we'd done our homework, then we were allowed to watch TV. So we generally watched that from when we got in to when we had our dinner. And then after that, it was our parents' time to watch. And then we would watch TV on a Saturday morning, early before my parents got up and before we might go out and do something. But it was either watch TV, play in your room, or play outside. We didn't have mobiles, iPads, Netflix, even game consoles to a point. We only got a games console when we were a bit bigger. We had an Atari, and then eventually we did get the internet, but even that was dial-up internet. It was very, very temperamental. If somebody phoned you on the house phone, then obviously you would lose your connection, and some days it just wouldn't work. And then at that age, we didn't really kind of know what to do with it. We didn't really know what sites there were. We didn't know where we could go. I think kids these days, they're aware of YouTube, they're aware of Google, they're aware of online spaces that they want to visit. So we watched a lot of TV, a lot of things recorded on video, and read books, really. That was sort of our entertainment. So that leads me on, from that little fact, that leads me on to a couple of books that I've picked up this week that I really want to show you, that I'm really pleased with. So first of all is a book by my friend Claire. Well done, Claire. First of all, congratulations on becoming a published author. So this is called Frugal Fusion Foods, and it is a vegan cookbook. And the idea is it's a budget cookery book. So you see these cookery books that say do a week's worth of meals for £10, blah blah blah, and then nearly always there are hidden costs. So there are always like the store essentials that they don't mention, that when you actually add them in, it takes you over the amount. So this is a budget cookery book, but nothing is hidden. So Claire creates the shopping list for you. You know exactly how much it's going to cost, and then obviously you're then free to make it. So this is a really, really lovely book. This really falls back on Claire's two passions, which are multiculturalism, easy for me to say, and veganism. She has enjoyed teaching over the years. She's worked with refugees, and she really enjoys how you can get creative in a culinary way, and how basically you fuse that with a limited budget. So the fusion, I feel, comes from, mixing the different types of foods together, but also fusing this creativity with being on a limited budget. So really, really lovely book. I've only just started reading it and going through the recipes, but I'm definitely going to try some. And I love how she has split these recipes into spring, summer, autumn and winter. That really appeals to the witch in me, and is kind of reflective of her as well. So yeah, absolutely lovely book. You can pick this up on Amazon. If you go to the link below that says products I love, you'll go to my Amazon page and you'll be able to have a little look at that. Well done, Claire. I'm so proud of you. I know you've have had no end of issues getting it sorted. Book publishing is not always easy, so very, very well done from getting that from your initial spark of inspiration into something that you can actually hold in your hand. I think that is to be congratulated, so well done. The other book that I want to show you is A Court of Thorn and Roses. I've been meaning to get a copy of this book forever, and I keep forgetting about it. And we were in Waterstones one day last week and I saw it sitting there, so I bought it, so I've got it. I haven't started it yet, haven't had time at the moment, but I'm really, really excited about this. Every single person that I know that has read this has said that they couldn't put it down and that it was just fantastic. Some of the reviews call it dark, lush, sexy fantasy and fast-paced and explosively action-packed. So yeah, everyone who has read this has raved about it, every single person. There's 5 books in the series. Sarah J. Maas, she's done other series of books as well. She's written quite a few books. and it's fantasy basically. So think wolves, think fairy courts, I believe. I haven't read it yet, so I can't say for sure, but that is what I gather it's about. But it is fantasy. It's my preferred genre. I can't wait to read this when it's cold and I'm snuggled up, and hopefully it can take my mind off the winter a little bit. I've been preparing for winter. I also bought a Mother Maple comforter last week, ready for the cold. It's sort of like that, sort of like teddy bear fleece, I think they call it. What books are you reading at the moment? And do you have any recommendations that our viewers might like to read? Bearing in mind this is a witchcraft channel, but any fictional books, you know, again, like fantasy or anything like that, I think generally is going to appeal to our sort of persons. So yeah. I'm going to do some cards soon. We're going to just keep this as a quick sort of catch-up episode, and then next week I'll find some good topics to talk about. But I just want to say congratulations to a couple of other ladies as well. So Lucy from Raw Eden Beauty Apothecary, she's based down in Hampshire. She has a shop down there in Fareham, and she is about to move to some bigger premises in the same place, but with a bit more room for doing workshops and things like that. So well done, Lucy. And also to Amy, who is the owner of Lulu Witchcraft. She is about to open a shop in Royston, Hertfordshire, called Lulu Wonderland. Amy has been really, really kind to me. She helped me out with something recently. She is a beautiful human being, as is Lucy. Please go and check out these ladies' businesses. It's really, really heartwarming to see them expanding and doing well. It is so difficult at the moment to have a business, especially I think, you know, perhaps an unusual, like a witchy business. I think it's really, really tricky, especially when you're not in places with easy footfall. So I'm thinking places like York, Glastonbury, maybe Burley, Edinburgh, you know, those sort of witchy places. So well done, girls. It's lovely to see you flourishing and doing well. So I'm going to do some cards right now. I quite like these Whispering Wood ones, I must admit. So let's do one of those. So let's pick a card for you guys from the Whispering Woods deck. It's just one word. Ooh, I'm going to pick that one. And the word is music. There is melody to be heard in the deepest parts of the woods, if only we listen. Not quite sure about that. I guess it's about nature talking to us and getting lost in nature and going and getting stuck in and seeing what sort of information is imparted to us, what insights we can pick up. So yeah, lovely deck. It's so gentle and sweet. Right, let's go to the old Rider-Waite-Smith and let's pick out some cards for the week ahead. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to, what you've been doing. Maybe you've had a little bit of time off and you've had some days out somewhere, or you've been on holiday. I would love to know. Thank you all so much for watching and for supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're new here, then please give me a thumbs up. I believe the thumbs up it means that my video gets shown to other people, so that's the most important one of all. And if you enjoy the video, please subscribe. Okay, so I picked 4 cards today, and we have got some big hitters. We've got 3 from the Major Arcana. So we've got the Hermit. Ooh, let me show you. We've got the Empress. We've got the Queen of Cups, and we've got the Chariot. And it feels very much like this is part direction and part reassurance. So you're being directed to take some time out of life, hermit yourself away. The answers that you seek are within. You know, when we reflect on and I'm thinking of a book here now, but when we reflect on our life and we reflect on some of the experiences that we've had and the wisdom that we have gained through experience, we realise that we have many of the answers deep down within us. We just need to take that time out to sit with a problem, a topic, just, you know, whatever it is you're dealing with. We need to take some time out with it, undisturbed, and sit with it. And then more often than not, we actually know what we need to do. We don't need to go outside to outside sources to find out the answer to that question or that problem or that issue or that thing that needs solving or that thing that we're wondering about. The answer is within. And I smile because I'm thinking of a book called Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind, and this hermit in this moment reminded me of the wizard said in that book, where he says, think of the solution, not the problem. It's really, really easy, isn't it, for us to, when we're faced with something, to concentrate on how awful the problem is. But if we take ourselves out, and we take ourselves out of the sort of busyness and humdrum of life, and we go somewhere quiet and we hermit ourselves away, then we can come up with the solution. We can come up to the solution of the problem. And I think we need to get creative as well. We need to get creative. We need to perhaps get over what I'm going to call the shock of capture. So the actual issue, once we're over that, I feel like it's a big thing. I feel like some of you perhaps are working out some big stuff. I feel like that is reflected in the fact that we've got 3 major arcana cards here. And I feel like when you take that time out and you work through this a little bit, and the shock and the sting and the stress, once you move past that and you start to think of the solution and not the problem, then that is when the creativity is going to appear. It's like not being able to be creative unless the house is tidy. I think you're not going to be able to get creative unless you remove some of the outside noise and distraction. Using your intuition, going with the flow, tuning in to not just the issue, but tuning into who you are as a person, tuning into this creativity, and tuning into letting the energy around you flow. And then your intuition, I think intuition and creativity, they very much go hand in hand. They're a very, very similar energy. And I feel like these 2 things are going to help you work through this. Again, if you remove yourself and you find that peace and quiet. And this is just a little reminder. So again, this is direction and advice. Just a little reminder that, you're on the path to your destiny. You're on the right track. And even though it can be very, very stressful at times, and you can feel like you're being pulled this way and that way as you travel along the road of life in your chariot, You've got a black sphinx here and a white sphinx, and quite often the tarot in different decks that can be illustrated with horses. Even though you feel like you're being pulled this way and that way, things can be very black and white sometimes. Often the answer is in the middle. It's a bit more grey than that, and that you are on the path that you're meant to be on. Yes, it feels like these extremes sometimes, but ultimately the path down the middle is the path that you are traveling. You are headed where you are meant to be. Whatever you have thrown at you, whatever challenges you might face, you're able to work through these, and you'll be able to do that. So yeah, just take note that everything ultimately is going to work out. You're going to be where you are meant to be. Right. Wishing you, I don't know what to say then, wishing you a lovely week, a lovely weekend. First of all, that comes first, but yeah, wishing you a lovely week ahead. Just a quick one this week, just as we sort of catch up and I get back into the flow of things. I hope you're all well. I know that some of you have been really, really poorly this last week. There's been the lurgy doing the rounds. I actually thought I had it. I thought I had it at the beginning of the week. I felt so unwell, so run down. I felt like I had a cold, but I think it was just, I had some cold sores, which always makes you feel fluey, and I think I was just like really run down. But I know some of you have been feeling really, really poorly. I hope you're feeling better soon. I hope next week is a better week for you, and I'm wishing you all a fabulous witching week. I'll be back next Friday. Until then, lots of love and blessings. Bye.